Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse, only on Netflix.
The biggest and probably most exciting sort of blue sky opportunities is, I guess,
Lachlan had this really interesting routine where he had the judges choose between
the new gadget.
Taking a couple of shots there, drone by.
And I
All right, welcome back to the It's Just Coffee podcast. My name is Kirk Pearson.
My name is Rohan Cook.
And together we are
It's Just Coffee.
By the way, when we say It's Just Coffee, you're welcome to join in because
It's Just Coffee. There you go. He gets
it.
it. This has probably been the quickest uptake we've had from a guest so far.
No, that was 100% compliance. I like
Last
it.
week-
it's better than sitting here awkwardly by myself. So
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Last week we had the boys where they just went, no, we won't be doing that.
Yeah. And you know what? All power to them as well.
Yeah,
But today,
appreciate it.
Today we've got big time royalty, former colleague of mine, current CEO of St. Ali Coffee Roasters in Melbourne, Lachlan Ward. Welcome to the podcast.
thanks for having me, guys.
What's the news with you? You just got back from an overseas trip.
Yeah. We've just opened up in Bali, in Pererenan. So I'm just up the road from Canggu and got back late last week. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of hard work as any new opening is, but yeah, couldn't be happier. It's gone so well.
And now, how much are we looking at this as a business venture, or is it just more of an excuse to get over to Bali every once in a while?
You're not the first person to ask. Look, it was actually the first time I've been able to take my family on a work trip, and I don't think it'll be the last one. So it's
that.
good. A bit of both.
Little tactical work junket.
Why not? Don't live to work.
I've got two questions to let us off. Firstly, have you got that coffee on the menu where the rodent poops the coffee out, the coffee luwak? You got that one on the menu?
We don't. But I guess if you're visiting and you're wanting to see it, I might pull it out of the special drawer.
I want a coffee that a rat has shat out. But large intestine fermentation.
You got to be careful now, because I was like, well, this is an easy home run for a video to go viral and do that. But there's huge. What is it? They treat the animals really poorly. So everyone's actually really against it. I saw a few videos of people having it in the comment sections. They're just like, monster.
Well, for every person that says that, there's also that one person at a party when they learn you're a barista and they pull you aside and they say, have you ever had that coffee with the rat shits out? And it's like that happens everywhere.
I've only had the coffee that you pooped out. That was interesting.
Oh, that was a good.
We're not trying that today, are we?
That was a good batch.
We're going to blindfold you later, and we've got a few things for you to taste out.
Bintangs, they on the menu?
No. Look, I'm going to leave this interview with a list of things that we need on the menu, it looks like.
We can be your creative directors for your culinary directors, if you will.
Now, I know we've got you as a guest, but I'm actually going to turn it over to me now. It's a very important segment that we've just started. We started it last week. Rohan's Shred Diaries. Over the last few months, I was just saying, I was like, put on a few kgs, having a good time, eating well. And I just thought, that's it, enough. And what better motivation than to do it live on the podcast, where I have people who are going to hold it against me if I don't. People that'll look at my videos and be like, look at you, you're not doing your Shred Diaries. So we weighed in last week. I weighed in fresh. 91 kgs. A good weight for me is probably around that like 84 kg range. So we're checking in each week. I've got some news coming in from last week.
You're up.
Down 1.2 kg.
Wow, well done.
Yeah. I'll pay that.
There you go. Okay. So I feel like the first week's always the easiest. You're just losing a bit of that water weight and doing it. And then it's after that, the 2 week, when you starts to plateau and become a little bit harder, a little bit tougher to do. But I hear that you run marathons and do a whole bunch of physical activity. Swimming at the moment, I hear as well.
Yeah. Look, I think running and swimming have been a part of my life for a long time. And these days, running in particular is what I spend most of my waking hours doing if I'm not at work or with my family. Just as much exercise as it is, I think, for mental health for me. But
how much does that play into your success in managing yourself, being the CEO of a company, do you think?
Definitely a massive part. I don't know how people get by without, looking after themselves properly and exercising and taking time out for yourself and to digest and process, the day or whatever's going on. So for me, it's massive. I couldn't live without it.
After or before work?
Oh, before. I mean, you never know what the day is going to throw at you. And, I think days have a habit of stretching out longer than you'd planned, and it doesn't happen if I do it up.
Get that cheeky jog in beforehand.
Are you pumping music when you're going, or are you just like there in your thoughts, or are you like timing yourself?
No. It's quite meditative for me, even if it like swimming or running is the same. So I think it's a chance to process and think and and just be present too. Like if I like to do a lot of running on the trails. It's a little bit like surfing. I grew up at the beach, so it's a bit like you got to choose your line through down the trails. And if you're listening to music or you're not thinking, pretty easy to roll your ankle or fall down the ravine or something like that.
Well, that's one piece of advice. My advice would be to listen to the It's Just Coffee podcast.
Yeah.
The next time you're out hitting the pavement, it's just coffee. That's the way to go.
Yeah,
I'll do that in the car.
Yeah, it's great and meditative. Maybe we could put in some meditative music just right now for you just to zen out and really process your day.
432 hertz, Lachlan.
Yeah, there
I like
you go.
it. But hey, it's time for some news.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
We have our own coffee news sound.
This is the first time. This is the first time we've had this going. But I'm the Australian new anchorman. So here we go. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
I also
for it.
just want to say just quickly, shout out to Liam, our producer, just here. Put that together.
Yep.
Liam.
Well done.
Yeah, great stuff.
boy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We got a lot of sounds. But hey, making news. Heat waves affecting crops in Vietnam and potentially Brazil. So the coffee market is set up for all-time highs to be seen over the next crop cycle, writes Sean Hackett in the Hackett Money Flow Commodities Report, which focuses on agricultural products. In other words, soon you'll likely pay more than ever for a cappuccino or latte, or God forbid, an espresso. What the hell's going on?
Oh, God, we already had a price hike. Now we're going to be doubling up on that again.
Yeah.
$10 for your latte coming at you.
Well, a lot of people forget that coffee is, in fact, a commodity. We mostly work with specialty coffee in our fields, but it's a commodity and, of course, fluctuates with certain factors. Your thoughts, Lachlan?
Yeah, look, I think even at the specialty end, you're impacted first and foremost by the base commodity price. So even if you're buying the best coffee in market, all at a premium, I guess, to what that commodity price is in the first place. So, look, I mean, it's an interesting time in market. It has been super volatile over the last 12 to 24 months, and they're uncertain time for coffee roasters.
Hot take. TimTams Deluxe Range Cafe Latte. Now, this is the news. I feel like this is like the Anchorman moment. It's like, let's not tell people the news they need to hear. Let's tell them the news they want to hear.
Yeah, amen.
Something good for the world, something good. TimTams Cafe Latte range. Tim Tam milk chocolate coating with extra chocolate will cover 2 crunchy biscuits that have velvety latte flavored cream sandwiched between them. Now, here's the best bit. The new TimTams Deluxe Cafe Latte Bickies are available in major supermarkets and independent retailers right now. So run, don't walk.
Don't walk. But I have to say, I always get upset when I see these things kind of come out. And I'm like, come on, guys, we have the coffee channel. Tim Tam, get on board. Give us a call. Golden Brown.
Yeah, Golden Brown coffee.
We did a Tim Tam Slam video. I think it has like 1.6 million views going off. There were places where I think it went really big in like the US and Canada. And there was like Canadian stores that stocked all the Aussie products sold out overnight. And they're going, don't worry. They're reposting the Tim Tam Slam. We've got Tim Tams back in stock. We've got them going. So Tim Tams, if you're listening to this, come on. Give your boy a little Tim Tam, a little cash.
Yeah, I saw the teaser for this, and I saw the coffee beans. I thought, maybe they're going to do a roaster collab, or have some fun with it, go somewhere premium, but not at all.
I can imagine Lachlan Ward on a Saturday night. In-laws have got the kids, missus is out getting treatment, and you're at home watching some Dragon Ball Z episodes. You've thought ahead. You've put some Tim Tams.
Have you got a
freezer.
camera in my front yard?
Yeah.
No, it's just him in your front yard.
What do you think I bought all that camo gear and binoculars for? But yeah, I can't imagine you enjoyed these things. Anyway, last piece of news. Rohan, why don't you take this one?
Absolutely. Starbucks reduces plastic and single-use cups by 20%. The new takeaway cups will be rolled out in locations in the US and Canada as part of the chain's commitment to cut cut carbon, water, and waste footprint by 2030. Now, I actually saw this on TikTok. I saw them doing the video. They were crushing it. They've got it so that one lid fits all three sizes as they do it, reduce the plastic there. I think it's great. They also had some great accessibility things that they've added on the back for different employees and for staff. Employees and for customers to better know what drink they're getting and what size it is. Obviously great. It's always a tough thing when you see single-use cups. So, it's part of the world that they have to provide for. But great that they're cutting down the plastic, but, there's always more that we can do, I think, there.
It's interesting. Like it's, a lot goes into how they develop it for in-store use, and you would want to put that much effort in when you're trained like that. But it kind of gets me thinking, and we didn't plan for this at all, but like, what's like the best system for implementing keep cup use? Because it's in a city, like in Australian cafes, you make them a lot more lattes than you would overseas. So I think there needs to be a better way that we kind of condition customers to help the cafe make it easy, because we've got to track whose cup it is, in what order, what goes in what cup if there's multiple orders. We've got to work on that one. And
there are people who are bringing in that new system of like, take one, bring it back. The exchange system. Yep. I'm not sure how that is working, whether that's successful in the way that it's done. There's also the hard side of like the keep cup. My number one thing is like when I haven't planned to have a coffee and I'm out and then I'm like, the keep cup sitting at home or on the bench. I haven't remembered to bring it. Do I just not get the coffee or do you go? So it is a hard dilemma, but we do need to find a better way to kind of encourage that and bring up the usage.
For sure. I think there's always going to be a place for single use. Like, there's going to be times where you've forgotten your cup, like you said. But I think first and foremost, the infrastructure has got to be better. It's amazing that a company like Starbucks is doing something because they're huge and lead the way and can bring about real change. But for operators like us, we can use the best in category products and the best possible single use product in market. But the infrastructure in Australia is so bad and so fragmented that you almost couldn't do the same thing even in between councils within Melbourne even. So it's tough.
Yeah. And I will also say on that, when I was living in the States, it is also funny from the consumer side when you see businesses trying to run and make a profit. And then when they try to change things, the kind of uproar that can come in. What are they? Sun chips, I think they're called in the States, but here they're called grain waves, I believe. They released a biodegradable package for all of their chips. And the chips packages would crinkle so loudly, like opening them, they're just so loud that everyone just went off and was like, what are these packets of chips? They're so loud. Like I can't even walk down the streets eating them. And the sales just plummeted. And then they were just like, well, back to the other aluminium packaging or foil packaging that we had.
Yeah.
And you see that same thing happened with Sonic Drive-In. They had polystyrene cups and then they changed to the plastic ones. And then the plastic started beating water on the outside from condensation and people went off. It didn't stay cold long enough. So back to polystyrene it was.
Yep, at all costs. But the reason I asked Lachlan here, and you and I spoke about it briefly, Rohan, is that a few weeks ago I was scrolling through Twitter. Yes, I have Twitter, X rather, and X, Degeneration X. Boom, boom. And I saw Lachlan Ward on 3AW, causing a stir. 3AW is a Melbourne radio station. And basically people are out with their pitchforks to get you, mate, because you're charging $6.50 for a flat white dine-in store.
That's right, yep.
And so I wanted to ask you, what's the reaction been like to that? Why did you do it? And why is it more important that you think other people should do it?
Oh, look, I was originally asked for comment around, suburban pricing differences, like between, Carlton and Fitzroy. And, really I just didn't think that was newsworthy. So, when I got asked the question, I sort of made it more around just coffee prices in general are too cheap. And we're blessed with some of the best coffee in the world and the most vibrant market. And we're just not charging what we should be.
Okay, so there's that side to it, but I'm also pretty interested, and you're 100% right. But what I'm interested to know what the additional cost is for serving someone dine in, because there's some people would say, hey, well you might be serving it in a single use cup that arguably costs you less, but there's a whole bunch of costs that go into being able to service someone that.
Yeah. And it comes down back to that word, and it's service, right? I think. To distill it down, labour and having people on the floor in a cafe in Australia is more expensive almost in the world. And I think for us to continue as an industry, we've got to look at pricing different ways than we have in the past. And that's the approach we've taken. We've just taken that approach with St. Ali in South Melbourne. It's not the same across all of our venues, but the thought behind that is around the service levels.
I mean, that's old school, right? That was what Italy did, right? If you,
that's
you
right.
get it at the counter, you go, bang, I'll get my espresso and I'm out the door. If you're sitting down,
That's right.
those prices go up. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
I think, and I think it's just challenging, I guess, what's been expected and what has been charged historically in Australia. I think as an industry, we've got to look at almost anything at this point to try and not only survive, but have a successful business.
I feel like the economy at large, and we're not just talking cafes here, but the economy at large is kind of feeling the effects of what's been going on in the past 5 years. So, before COVID, there was also enormous bushfires in Australia, which had a big impact. Then obviously COVID happened and we had some pretty hectic lockdowns in Australia, specifically in Melbourne and Sydney. And I feel like only now we're kind of feeling the after effect of that. Then after COVID sort of finished, there's a whole bunch of supply chain issues that, caused by, wars in Ukraine and weather events in other places. And that also, it just affects everything. And so I think people's disposable income. So you can understand why people don't necessarily want to pay more. No one wants to pay more for anything.
But I even remember back in the day when I was working at a cafe, like someone would order the fruit toast or whatever. They'd come in, they'd sit there for a long time and they'd get the fruit toast and they'd go, it was $6 at the time. And they go, I just want the one slice. I don't want two. I'm like, absolutely, can absolutely do that. Just so you know, it's still going to cost you $6. And they're like, no, why? I'll pay half, $3. And I'm like, no, you're not paying for the toast. You're paying for the person out the back, putting the time, putting it on the plate, setting it up, the waiter to bring it out to you, and for the service side of it as well. So there is that hard balance of trying to educate that
Right.
on both sides of the coin.
As a percentage, how much more do you think you would save if no one sat in and had their food and coffee and they all took it away, but you sold the same amount? As a percentage, how much do you think you'd save in costs each week? I know this is an on-the-nose question.
Look, I mean, that's a difficult question to answer. I mean, that's going to come down to the size of your venue and everything.
But you'd have a smaller venue.
But substantial, massive.
Yeah. So what we're saying, people, is that, the cost of sitting you down.
I mean, your human cost of running a hospitality venue is, 40% plus generally.
Yeah. And one other interesting thing about the interview that I found, that I noticed and thought was noteworthy to ask a question here is, you're talking about the cafes that you supply. So obviously not just being a venue yourself, you supply a lot of customers. What's the general feeling among them at the moment, if you can elaborate?
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, we supply sort of north of 600 customers around Australia. And look, the general feeling is that it's really hard at the moment. It's really hard for them to run their business and keep the business and run the business they want to do it the way they want to. So at every possible opportunity, we're trying to, I guess, talk them through and help them be confident with making changes in a positive way and not looking at, I guess, cutting things out as the first and only way for them to make their business profitable.
Mentioned specifically doing hospitality business in Australia is tough. And so I think there's a useful insight for you to make here is that because you've previously opened venues overseas before and you've just opened another one now in Bali, St. Ali, Bali. Check it out.
What was it called again?
St. Ali in Bali.
One more time.
St. Ali in Bali.
Oh, okay. And then St. Ali in Bali. Yeah, there you go.
Surely we change that to St. Bali.
It's been thrown around already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. Just had to be.
I'm just going off the classic thing of say your name 3 times and people will remember it. So I'm just plugging that in
Thank you
there
for
for
that.
you.
So, yeah, I mean, you were mentioning before there's other sort of challenges in opening up overseas and stuff like that. But, cost-wise, what's it like doing business outside of Australia?
Look, it's going to depend on where it is, I suppose. And I think I want to make super clear, though, I think there is absolutely a future for hospitality in Australia. And I think there's no shortage of amazing independent operators in restaurants, cafes, hotels all around Australia doing an amazing job day in and day out. And I think our expansion internationally isn't just down to us giving up in Australia. I think it's really important that we believe there's a future for a vibrant industry here. I mean, Bali for us has been a dream for a long time. We've had a store in Jakarta for 7 years or so, and an amazing partner over there that wanted to help us bring the brand to Bali. And I mean, Bali's a bit of a no-brainer for a brand like ours. And yeah, it's been an amazing opportunity to do it. I mean, there's different cost structures in any country that you operate in, and I don't know that you want to get into all of them today, but there's some obvious ones that you could probably call out straight away on just cost to build and stuff like that of opening in a place like Bali. But for us, really, it's more about brand and I guess getting Sinali and more cups of coffee in people's hands. It's not to try and run a more profitable cafe.
It looks like a bit of a temple or shrine you're operating out of there. Like
we've got some amazing partners in Bali. We're underneath Further Hotel, which is a diffused hotel concept in Pererenan. So they've taken, I guess, inspiration from the local surrounds and I guess built this almost precinct of hotels around the suburb, which is incredible. So, I mean, we're just the first level. So people look at that side and think, wow, they're like this three or four level, super cafe. But no, we're just in the ground floor. But we're really lucky to have them as a partner.
Well, Liam and I were talking about Zelda. Have you played the new Zelda?
No.
Have you got a Nintendo Switch?
I do not.
Oh man. Okay. Well,
I played Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh wow! This is the cooking sound from Zelda. Okay, I didn't know we were going to whip that out. That's impressive. But anyway, it looks like what I would imagine the Spirit Temple to be like. That's kind of what
it was really beautiful. We had to do a ceremony before we opened called Malaspas, which was essentially like the local. I want to say medicine man, but probably a priest who comes and blesses the building and sort of, gets rid of all the evil spirits and bad juju before you open. And it's almost their equivalent of like the health inspection or like the building sort of permit. So that's like the last step you need to do before you open. And it was really beautiful to be a part of it. Very, very different. Not something you'd ever do in opening a cafe here.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, we should. I'm into it.
I have my own sort of system, which is have a shower cry in the evening. Oh, I'm excited my life. Just joking. That's not how it went. But you guys.
What have I done?
You guys have been on top of the game for a long time, and
Thank you.
you guys. I kind of mean me. Look at this. I've got the St. Ali Feels Good jumper on. So of course I used to work with you. Do you miss me?
I do. Yeah. Look, I mean, we've been blessed to have a lot of talented alumni come through St. Ali in the almost 20 years we've been open. It'll be 20 years next year. Massive milestone. But yeah, people like yourself and countless others have contributed in a massive way along the journey.
A lot of those people are going on to do great things now as well.
That's right.
So, Dan Dick, who's got Born and Raised Coffee. He was on the podcast a few weeks ago. Leon Holsworth just opened up a cafe not too far away from here.
Andy Cooks, right?
Andy
That's
Cooks,
right.
yeah.
Andy Cooks, big Andy.
I mean, can we get a shout out to Andy Cooks? He's maybe we can get it like a little thing, but
we need to get him on the pod. He's a sweetheart. He's a lovely dude.
He's a coffee guy too. He loves coffee.
Yeah, loves coffee.
Well, he's a lovely guy with an incredible story as well. And just watching him grow through lockdown and Dobbers.
People listening, tag Andy. Get him on. Let him know.
And Dobbers. With you and the ownership of St. Ali with Sal and stuff like that, do you look upon that and think, geez, that's awesome to see them grow in a good way?
Oh, absolutely. I think St. Ali is bigger than one person, and there's been a lot of a huge list of people that have contributed in massive ways over the years and who have gone to go and do amazing things in their own right. And it's cool to see. I mean, I miss a lot of them day to day. I mean, I'm still around. I'm probably one of the longest serving employees who are still in the business. But it's amazing to see. St. Ali's been I guess, rite of passage or a stepping stone for a lot of people. So it's been cool.
And speaking of which, I'd love for you to sort of outline to the listeners your sort of entry into coffee, that business, and where you are now. So what was your first position in the business?
Yeah, sure. So I think a bit like you, I studied journalism. And I was studying around the time when sort of specialty coffee was just kicking off in Melbourne. So it was sort of 2008. And I just moved down here from Byron Bay, and I'd worked in hospitality like a lot of people, a lot of students, and I could see what was going on in Melbourne, and it was just really fascinating. And as my degree went on and I deferred a few times and traveled and all that kind of usual stuff, I found myself gravitating more and more to coffee and wanting to write about it and wanting to work. essentially. And so we got to the end or almost to the end, and there was a Twitter competition. It was like winner dinner at St. Ali. And at the time, St. Ali was doing dinner, and so I entered the Twitter competition, meant to be doing assignments. Sure enough, I win a ticket. That night I met Sal and Joanne, his partner. It was amazing.
What was the Twitter comp? How did you win?
I can't even remember.
Oh, come on. Can we, if we dive into the
you could probably find it. You could probably find it. So no, anyway, I met them both.
2007. Get in that Twitter feed.
And then sort of a couple of months went by, and for the listeners that don't know, we have and had another brand called Sensory Lab, which was, I guess, one of the experiential specialty coffee brands, or the first of its kind, really, that opened up on Little Collins Street in Melbourne. And there was a barista gig going there, so I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's apply, see what happens. And yeah, that was my first gig in the group.
16 years ago.
No, that was 2011. So 2008, I was working in coffee. So 2011, yeah. So 13 years, yeah.
Racked up your long service leave?
I have indeed.
Spent it yet?
No.
Oh, where do you plan on going?
Bali.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't worked that out yet. But no, so from there, look, it was an amazing time in the business and an amazing time in the industry. I think when I got into coffee, the specialty coffee movement was very much in its infancy in Melbourne, and there was so much excitement and enthusiasm and so many openings that you really felt like you're on the frontier. So yeah, from there I went on to run that store, and then I guess I don't know that you want to know every step, but ended up running the Sensory Lab hospitality part of the business for a number of years. Went and did a bunch of side projects, ran the whole hospitality business. Moved into operations, so ran the warehouse for a period, wholesale team, and then so Sal, for those who don't know, is, I guess, the founder in its current form. As he's wanted to take a step back more, I guess as time's gone on, I've taken on more responsibility, and it'd be coming on 2 years ago now.
Yeah, okay.
Took the top job, yeah. So it's been a ride. It's been fun.
I'd say that we'd have, a lot of listeners that would either be working in cafes or working their way up and maybe want to pursue that to go kind of higher. Is there any advice you'd give for someone who's maybe at that ground level? Obviously, there are different ways that they can pursue it, but do you have any advice there?
I think just be hungry and don't expect opportunities to come to you. I think, St. Ali's the kind of business that I guess suits the kind of person who's going to go after it and chase it, and maybe ask for forgiveness later in some respects. And I think I've been given a lot of opportunities to try and fail and to try new things and chase new things, and I guess throw myself into situations where you sort of fake it till you make it, I guess. So I think if I could give any advice, it would just be to get after it, and don't expect it to come to you, because it's just not. I mean, hospitality and coffee has limited pathways. And, I guess that's an important thing to call out. So, get after it and chase what's in front of you, I suppose.
And let me tell you, those baristas out there know what it's like to stay hungry. Starting the shift at 6 a.m., not going on your lunch break until about 3.
Yep.
So we're always staying hungry.
Yeah,
He's a panini.
Yeah, I miss some things about working as a barista, but there's plenty I don't. Yeah,
yeah, the old espresso for lunch diet.
Oh yeah,
brutal. But what a lot of people might not remember, although they should, is that you're a former Australian Brewers Cup champion.
That's right.
Did you know that, Rohan? Former Australian Brewers Cup champion. Mm-hmm. I should have got Liam to get the audio for one of your opening lines, but Lachlan had this really interesting routine where he had the judges choose between two coffees, a Katura or a geisha. Which one would you like? And they chose the Katura. Do you wish they chose the geisha?
Yeah, look, I mean, in hindsight, it was probably a silly move. I think everyone was presenting geishas that year, and we were working with the farm Santuario out of Colombia, and they do some amazing things, and they're growing a lot of varieties in close proximity, right? And so we made the whole routine about that, and this element of choice. And then, of course, when a judge has been drinking one variety the entire day, they're going to pick the thing that isn't that, I guess. And but no regrets. It was an amazing opportunity. I think it taught me a lot. I mean, I encourage baristas to do it if that's your thing. It's not going to be everyone's thing. I think public speaking can be challenging and daunting and scary in a lot of ways, but it opened doors for me and gave me a lot of confidence as a coffee professional.
Going from there to now that you're the CEO of the business, of the company, and I guess it was good to ask you before about like how you start your day, which is with running and with exercise. What's like a typical day of you now? Because one thing I really respect about people, and I respect about Rohan and Sonam as well. When I first interviewed Rohan previously, it was good to know that how he sort of structures his day. And I think that's something like a lot of people could learn to do better nowadays. Put my hand up, I'm terrible at it. But how do you sort of work, like structure your day? And, you're thinking, I had to book this in with you probably like a month ago, 3 weeks ago, because, your calendar's full. How do you go about doing that?
Look, the most important thing to me in any given day is just connecting with the business and the people in the business. So, there's like a really old term about walking the factory floor, and that I guess you can use that in any business, but I think it's important for me, I guess, as a leader to, walk the floor, so to speak, and that can mean going to visit the cafes. It can mean checking with the interstate or the international team, literally walking the factory floor. Like that takes a different form, every day, but that's before I sit down. So and on weeks like this where there's some major deadlines, I'll be sitting down a lot. Mm-hmm. So making sure you carve out that time for the people is the most important thing, and how I try and start every day. And I use strategically, if I'm in the car, I use car time for phone calls as well, because that's when you can get a lot of things done and you're stuck. So.
Are you big on the self-help books?
No, not really.
Because one of our mutual friends, Todd Suter, always gets me onto these self-help things, and one of them is the Power of One More. And the what's the guy's name? Ed.
No idea.
I forget the guy.
I forget
the name of the guy who started that. But there was this really famous clip where he's like, I actually get 3 days out of one day. I have my first part of the day where it's we got
Ed Milet.
Ed Milet, that's the one.
Milet,
He's like I break it into 3 6-hour blocks. So part one of the day, 6 hours, and then yada yada yada. So and went viral, and a lot of people said it was.
But wait, what's this one more? What is it?
Can you explain it? More. It's a book. So
can you explain what the principle is? Is there like one principle?
If you put one more effort here, I can't remember. I've read.
So it's all about like incremental gains.
Yeah. But do you get around to anything like that, or you just got your own?
No, not really. I think like a lot of people who are sort of trying to find their way, and I guess grow as professionally. You'll read books along the way, and you sort of take different things from different parts of those and use it in your own way. But no, I don't think I've got a magic formula. I think, connecting with the people, definitely. My biggest, my charter is really to, I guess, grow Sonali as a brand and as a business, right? So that takes different forms every day. At the moment we're doing a lot out of Melbourne, and we've been very, very Victoria-centric for a long time. So I'm about sort of, I guess, spreading the gospel to Bali, Philippines, Queensland.
Oh yeah. But outside of Bali, what are you excited about in terms of like that growth? Like, where do you think for you guys the next like big growth thing is?
Yeah, look, so I mean, staying close to home, I think interstate, up the eastern seaboard for us is really exciting. I'm from just north of Byron, Brunswick Heads, and Brisbane originally. So selfishly, I'd like to have something a bit closer to home. But Brisbane for me is a really exciting place to be in coffee right now. And it's
booming as a place.
Yeah, there's some amazing operators that are moving up there from interstate, and also just local Queensland brands too. So really excited to open a flagship up there in the next 18 months. And then do the same in hopefully Sydney eventually. We've been trying for a long time to do that, but I think Brisbane will happen first. And then I think for us, the biggest and probably most exciting sort of blue sky opportunity is I guess the greater region of Asia. I think if you go if you travel and see what those markets are like, there is such enthusiasm and opportunity there for coffee brands and for coffee drinkers there right now that sort of reminds me a little bit of what I guess Melbourne was like maybe 5-10 years ago. And I think for us, there's a huge, it's obviously a massive market, and I mean, Asia's a very broad term, but a massive market opportunity for an Australian brand like ours to really take it by the horns and run with it. So that's what I'm excited by.
Absolutely.
Well, today we're unleashing a new segment.
Okay.
A new segment that I warned you about, but I didn't give you the questions for, which is rapid fire questions. So we're gonna go for a minute here. I'm gonna ask you 20 questions rapid fire.
Right.
If you answer them all, there's no prize.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, you
get a
high
hug.
five. Yeah, and a hug. All right. So you ready?
All right.
All right. Start the timer.
Hey, it's just
And your time starts now.
All right. Washed or natural?
Washed.
Ethiopian or Colombian?
Ethiopian.
Milk, espresso or filter?
Espresso.
Batch brew or pour over?
Pour over.
Gun to your head. What's your last meal?
Focaccia.
Godzilla or Kong?
Kong.
Gryffindor or Slytherin?
Gryffindor.
Monty Python, Life of Brian
Monty
or Holy
Python.
Grail?
Holy Grail.
AeroPress or V60?
V60.
Charmander, Bulbasaur or Squirtle?
Wordle.
Best coffee city that's not Melbourne?
Sol.
Scruncher or folder?
Fold.
Oat or soy?
Oat.
Matcha, yes or no?
Yes.
Iced latte or cold brew?
Cold brew.
Simpsons or South Park?
Simpsons.
Sunrise or Today Show?
Sunrise. Koshi all the way.
Greatest rapper ever?
Oh, jeez. Eminem.
Best cafe song?
A song. Shit. DJ Shadow. Private Press.
Best coffee in Melbourne that's not your own?
Golden Brown.
There was one more question, so I will ask you now. Armageddon started. What are you taking with you?
My family.
Okay, that's
Yeah, that's probably the only answer you should have.
Geez, you got me nervous there, Lachlan. I was like,
That was quick.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
the
Also,
heart
just
pumping.
this music.
Crescendo.
yeah, the crescendo. But you know what, guys, it's got me feeling a little bit hot.
It's gonna be really hot.
It's got me feeling really hot.
Sweaty.
You should start with that, I reckon. That gets the mood going.
Okay, all right. We'll do it next time.
Oh, is that the sound of?
new music? What the hell? This was unscripted.
Yeah, that's the sound of boiling water, guys.
Oh shit!
It's getting hot. Although our guest isn't sweating because he's a marathon runner and his resting heart rate is super low.
hemoglobin-
It's barely beating right now.
Yeah, it's barely beating. It's like a turtle.
I'm barely alive.
It's going to live to 140.
I hope so.
But it's getting hot in here. It's time for an extra hot take with 2 sugars. All right,
Good way.
we've got some hot takes coming in here. I'm going to start us off with my extra hot take. Capsule coffee. Not so bad. Ooh. Not so bad. I'm just going to go out there. I think one of the biggest problems that happened with capsule coffee, and I'm not talking about the environmental side of things here, we're just talking about the coffee that can come out, was that Nespresso, I feel like, was the first one, and it was called Nespresso. So it's saying it's espresso. And guess what? It's not espresso. These capsule pods only have 5 grams of coffee in them. So the pods have about 5 to 6 grams of coffee in them. Then you're passing through way more water. So it's probably more of like a 1-to-4 ratio, whereas espresso is like a 1-to-2 ratio. So if you just look at it as putting good quality coffee and putting water through it, you can get more of a filter range. If you have a pod machine like I do where you can up the dosage, I was running a 5-gram dose with 100 grams of water the other day, passing it through a little filter paper. Delicious. Good coffee.
I've tried that before.
Get a proper pod with like nitrogen popped in there so you're not the beans aren't going as oxidized.
You guys are big in the pod coffee game.
A long time. Yep. And look, I think I agree. I think they serve their purpose. I mean, they're not out there to replace an espresso machine.
Exactly.
But I think for the right consumer or the right point in time, I think they're great.
Yep.
Second that motion, but I'm going to finish on the extra hot takes. I would like yours next, if I may.
Down the barrel.
Give it to them. Give them hell.
I mean, I hope mine isn't too lukewarm, but no, mine's about I guess it's probably not as short and snappy as yours, unfortunately. But
right.
no, I think As an industry, coffee tends to look inwards and get fixated on stuff like technology and these tiny incremental gains that don't really fucking mean anything to the customer. I think coffee as an industry in and of itself is a people industry. And I think it's easy to get caught up in, the frozen balls or the whatever have you, the new gadget.
Taking a couple of shots there, drove by.
And I just think we need to focus on the customer and spending more time with our staff and improving what we're doing in store and thinking about what the customer wants and not fixating on things that don't matter.
That's an extra hot take with 2 sugars.
Yeah, it is an extra hot take. That was, you weren't coming in lukewarm. That has the shots. And I would agree. I have, obviously doing the channel, I look at a lot of these different things. There are some things, and also the home market versus in a cafe can be very different as well. But there is a hard part where some of them are really good. And then some of them you're like, well, if you make a product for $40 that you can sell to 1 million people around the world, it's going to make you a lot of money.
And look, don't get me wrong, I love technology and I think it's come a long way and made coffee more accessible to a lot more people. But I think sometimes we get caught up in needing to spend, this much to be the best cafe in the area, where it was, spend a bit more time with getting to know Rohan and his dog's name and all that kind of stuff. And he's going to be coming back forever. Yeah. He doesn't care about what machine's on bench.
Also, that's a good time for us to cut to a quick ad break. We're coming in hot. So Golden Brown launching their new frozen ball WDT tool. It'll tamp, distribute, and freeze your coffee all in one foul motion. Only $49.95. Just check out the Golden Brown website if you want to buy.
And if you sign up now, you get free childcare for life.
Nice.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't agree
in
to
that case. I retract my statement.
I've got a hot take that has nothing to do with coffee. And,
I thought it had to be about coffee.
Well,
we've been doing this. We're at episode, 10, 11, something?
Well, what happened here has enraged me so much that I had to make this hot take with 2 sugars. Now, Godzilla and Kong, New Empire, worst movie I've ever seen. I wasn't. Sorry, you gonna chime in already? You gonna chime in already?
I'm gonna chime in already
What?
and just go, what, is this gonna be like the other one where you came in with a hot take saying you hated matcha, it tasted like dirt. A week later you come in, you're like, hot take redacted, I like matcha.
No, this is the one where you don't go back for more. This
Okay.
is a different kettle of fish. I went and watched this. I thought I was so excited. I'm going to see a giant lizard fish that shoots atomic breath, punching on with a Kong for a little bit more. But it turned out it was. I wasn't sure if I was watching Planet of the Apes. But what happens is, spoiler alert now. Pause for a second so they can at least get out or whatever. Spoiler alert is over. But basically, Godzilla, he goes and fights Kong for a little bit, but then Mothra flies up, who's being ridden by a little girl that can now, transport dimensions with Mothra, goes up, breaks up Godzilla and Kong fight to take them to a different dimension to punch on with a Kong and an Ice Godzilla. And it's just like...
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
I cringed the whole time.
I think you're the issue here.
Oh, far out. But no, I've had a gutful. And you know what's sad about it? It was produced by Warner Brothers. And you know what Warner Brothers gave us? June 2. June 2 is like the you've got a funny story about June 2 actually, but yeah, you told us before the thing. What was
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So come on, explain. Come on, tell them.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I went and saw June 2. It's one of the first movies I've seen in a long time. I've got 2 young kids. They were away for the weekend. My partner, I invited her along. She didn't want to come. I get home. The movie was incredible. I'm a big fan. I've read the books. Anyway, she gets back from a massage and I've got all the speakers in the house playing the June soundtrack. And it's like for those who haven't heard it, it's like this droning.
It's big.
Orchestral number. It was amazing. She was freaked out. It was amazing.
Yeah, what was the reaction? Did you think you were in a dark place or what?
No, look, I listen to some mixed genres at home. So
hit me. Give me some.
Oh, sometimes there's opera while I'm doing the dishes.
Pavarotti.
Then there'll be it was Elton John yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Everything.
Closer.
R&B, everything.
Tribe Called Quest. It's Tribe
Called Quest. Yep.
Around.
So
I actually like that idea of applying different music for different tasks throughout the day. It's like, I listen to opera a lot, but only when I'm washing dishes.
yeah, that's right. It's a ceremony.
I'm a bit of a I love all genres of music, and one of my favorite bands actually is from Byron Bay.
Who?
In Heart's Wake.
Ah, yeah.
Hardcore metal band. And then of course Parkway Drive, another banger.
Yep.
Did you ever listen to any In Heart's Wake?
I did. Yep.
Well, shout out to Enhanced Wake.
And Amity Affliction are from Byron as well.
Oh, there you go.
I
Amity-
think they're from Queensland somewhere.
One of them's from Byron.
Okay, all right, maybe.
He knows. He went to school with him.
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, you win. But yeah, Jake Taylor, if you ever want to come on the podcast, I think you had something to do with coffee at some point. He's the lead singer of Amity Affliction. But Enhanced Wake.
The other one.
Yeah, okay. You got me confused. But hey, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you on the podcast, mate.
It's been a pleasure to come.
Time flies when you're having fun. Did you have any concluding remarks that you wanted to tell everyone listening in?
Stay safe, drink more coffee.
Stay safe, drink more coffee.
Yep, absolutely. I think everyone, if you're in Melbourne, head down. As well, the new Bali shop.
Yeah, fly over to Bali just
Fly
for a
to
coffee.
Bali.
Yeah,
You won't regret it.
you know they've got the large intestine fermentation coffee. They've got the bin tanks. in
That
the
we
bar.
don't have, but maybe in 3 months.
Yeah, all right, we'll see.
Also, apart from St. Ali, the other best coffee in town,
Oh,
Project Zero
Project
Coffee.
Zero Coffee. You got to get down there.
What's it called again?
Project Zero Coffee.
Whereabouts is it?
140 King Street, Melbourne.
What's
there
it
you
called
go.
again?
Project Zero Coffee.
He
Hey, you
gets
got to
it.
come in.
He picks up. This is Jack.
Yeah. No, I like him.
And if we're talking about things that he's picked up, it's probably a good time to finish it up there. And we can just all say,
It's
just coffee.
Yes, I like that. Very nicely done.